So I have a 2-hour drive, so I'm like, why not? Let's make a video. Sorry if the motion is not perfect. I try to be as personal as I can be in my videos, where there's not a lot of editing, so you get the raw me and accept it. But no, this video is just a train of thought of how we are so lost as people. Like, mentally, we are consumed by so much that we don't even know who we are. We don't even know where we're going in life. We're so lost in what we do every day. We're so lost in what is our next move that we need everyone else's opinion. We need everyone else's guidance. And there's nothing wrong with needing someone else's guidance, but when you constantly need it, when you're constantly like, how do I do this? Like, like you're not stepping up for yourself. You're not showing up for yourself, taking action for yourself, and being the big dog, being who you need to be or who you strive to be to lead you to become who you can say who you're destined to become mentally. It's truthfully, honestly, a big factor in becoming a successor is grabbing life by the bootstraps and taking responsibility and moving forward, taking action, showing up for yourself, building yourself, becoming who you want to strive, who you see yourself in the next 5 years, the next 10 years. You know, there's this quote, I don't know who it's by, or it's just a saying, if not now, then when? And I know I made a video on this, like a couple of videos back on my channel here. Go watch it if you haven't. Seriously, if not now, then when? When are you going to take action? And also another saying that resonates with this is, sorry, a little congested today. Another saying that I go by is, it's slipping my mind because I'm trying to seek for it. My brain does this to me. It plays games. And it's like, I don't have time for this, brain. Give me what I'm trying to say. But yeah, if not now, then when? And then how you do one thing is how you do all things. So if you do one thing without full effort or more, and this might be a little drastic, but it has meaning to it. If how you do one thing is how you do all things. So, and let's say if you half-ass like cleaning, then you're gonna half-ass an assignment. I know sometimes sayings like that go across as universal, but sometimes they don't always go across universal depending on people's life. Like, you could be really hardcore, like as a college student, and you're studying and you ace like tests, you get A's, B's, or whatever. But like, your room is trashed, your car is trashed, and like you don't hardly pick up after yourself, so like you're not taking care of that fact. Like, that kind of is like the awkward like room, as in like, okay, but what if this factors in here? I know I'm getting very sidetracked, but we as people get so consumed in ways that life comes at us that we don't know necessarily how to step forward with that, or more or less take action to represent ourselves in ways that where we can listen. We can actually listen to what our brain is telling us, so we can listen to where we're going on in life. Sometimes people are lost because they've just been so consumed by things, or just life has thrown a huge ass curveball at them that they had to, that it just came down to that. And that's okay. I've been down that route. Life has thrown plenty of curveballs at me, that I've encountered depression, that I've had to be put on like medication and like prescribed drugs and like et cetera, and I could not even think being on antidepressants. Like, I could not think at all. Like, it literally shuts your brain off, and like that's like your creative spark. That's your brain, that's your mind. That's what makes you human. But that's another story in my own opinion, or I don't know what you call it, but people nowadays, their brain is like a size of a goldfish's brain. Sorry, I was reading a text. our brains are essentially the size of a goldfish. For most people that are either like brain rot, like love brain rot humor, or essentially are have like an attention span of a goldfish and cannot think, cannot process, I guess you could say, most things and what they do or the way they do things too. Is like with TikTok. Did you know that there's a product that is literally a ring and you can swipe? I did not know they made that. My boss told me that. She asked me, how's your personal brand going? And I was like, it's going good. And then I was mentioning about like TikTok Shop, and I mentioned about my personal brand, and like it's doing good. Can't complain. I'm growing it. Just steady growth, consistency, showing up, consistent. And she mentioned that there's these little rings that you put on your finger that you can just swipe your finger, and literally it swipes the screen for you. You don't even have to touch your fingertip on the phone to swipe. Crazy. And like there's literal things made for our comfortability that is making us lazy, that is making us essentially not putting us in the places that we should be at, putting us in the environments where we're not growing, we're not stagnant of growth when it comes to ourselves. And my train of thought on this was like, wow, because I reflect, I'm doing a little self-reflection since I don't have an aux cord for my phone, so I can't listen to music, which is perfect, and I love that because of the simple factor of music. We get consumed by the music that we listen to. Whoever it is, doesn't matter if it's country, pop, rap, fucking opera. I don't know, but more or less, opera's not one of them because it's classical. I mean, I think there's other, but anyway, ones that talk about like rap of like fuck bitches, get money, or like guns and like gangs and etc., etc. And I mean, we could go down the whole rabbit hole on this, but like even pop culture, that whole rabbit hole of like getting trending products, or like, I don't care what people think of me, like fuck men, and like let's just be feminine. Like, I mean, I don't know, total rabbit hole I'm going down, but it's that whole culture, it's that whole, I don't honestly know wholeheartedly what I'm talking about, but people know about it, and I hope you know about it, and I'm sorry if I cannot express that perfectly, but it's a culture that we listen to, and like honestly on the radio now, all I can listen to is the radio, and I honestly look for podcasts. I listen, there's this one called the Free Beer and Hot Wing Show, 97.9 GRD rocks. I love that podcast. I listen to it in the morning. Honestly, it's like the best way to get a smile on my face. Honestly, it's probably a good way to start your day. But music is a big factor that consumes us because we are so consistent with listening to music. And I'm not dissing music. I'm not saying like let's boycott music. No, because that's not gonna happen. People love music regardless. I love music. I have music that I listen to that is of this culture, and I know it. And some people go cold turkey on like music, even though it's not that deep, but it is to some people, on like to stop listening to music. And kudos to you. I'm still gonna listen to music, but I'm now have a more understanding of like, with self-reflecting, of like understanding that our subconscious mind reflects on what we hear, on what we listen to. It's what makes us weak mentally. It's what makes us strong mentally. And sure, music definitely gives you an ego. Hell yeah it does. It does for me. I'll give you a couple of them. Logic, G-Eazy, Drake, NF a little bit. I'll give me, when I listen to their music in my playlist, Russ. Their music fuels me with ego, gets me so business minded of like, fuck, I gotta go, I'm hungry for this shit, let's go. And I love that. But you got to restrain yourself. And take this with a grain of salt, as you will. But you honestly, this is my take, my opinion. You don't have to do what I say, but it's just more so, in my opinion, as a successor to teaching you guys as becoming your own successor through this life, and taking it as a journey, as you will, is to understand that you kind of got to restrain yourself from the things that you enjoy, because once you're in those spots of comfortability, that's what lacks your creativity spark. That's what lacks like your brain actually working. Let me say it again. It lacks what your brain to be able to function, essentially. Like, yes, our brains function, but like not to its fullest capacity. And I'm pretty sure I learned this when I was young, that we only use like 10% of our brain. And fuck, imagine what we're using now with like how small of a brain that most of y'all have when it comes to constantly scrolling. And I'm at fault with that. On TikTok, there's like this trend now about like, I forgot their podcast, but it's like it's podcasts do this, but it's this one podcast in particular that like is all about like this dating show where like the person that went on a date, like they didn't hear back from someone, so they'll email this podcast and like, hey, I want to hear back from this girl or guy. Could you, and I'll give you like their phone number, could you give them a call? And then like we could find out the reason why they didn't give me a call back, or why they're not like responding to my text or whatever. And like I'm at fault where I get stuck on those. Like they're engaging, in my opinion, like because number one, it's usually a Minecraft like speed run video in the background. So I too come at fault with that. I'm gonna be raw in this video. Like I said in the beginning, I like to be raw in my content. I like to express who I am and not be like, you gotta go hard. Like, but David Goggins, that it's like, you gotta go hard. Who's gonna carry the boats type mentality and stuff. I love that. That's so motivational, but also he's so crucial on the discipline factor. And he speaks on this stuff too, of like being comfortable kills you. Like, essentially, when it comes to like your creative spark, who you are as a person, your character, your personality, who you become, and how determined you become, like, because we have so much will, and a lot of us don't realize that. Like, we quit because our minds are so weak. We quit because we're not strong mentally. Like, I cannot, like, today, for an example, the environment of work, it was a Friday. Stress was all over in the room. You could smell stress on people, and you can read it on people, and it's like, Jesus, like, it's starting to make me stressed in a way. But like, I know how to hold my cool, but like, I thought I understood like why people want to go have a cigarette now, in a way. It's like, because it's such an easy like result. I was like, I'm stressed out, I need to get away from this. And yes, take a breather. And that's what I do. I breathe. I meditate in a way of like, and I just breathe. Just breathe. So, you know, but with that being said, your comfort ultimately results in kind of where you're going in life. And understand that with that factor, it's like, you got to take the things that make you comfortable and just dabble in them. Don't fucking go head diving deep into it and be like, oh, I enjoy it. Like, because yeah, I enjoy some things, and I'll give you some examples from my end that I'm sure you guys can resonate with. But I'll start off with one that personally I enjoy. A lot of people don't. Some people do. Some people cringe at it. Some people find it weird, and some people like certain parts of it, but not all of it. And that's ASMR. I forget the terminology for the A, the S, and the M, and the R. But it's essentially where you get tingles, and that's like, it sounds weird, but like, you listen to it, you have earbuds in, that's where you get the full immersive experience. And it relaxes you, it calms you down, it makes you tired. If it's, some of it is for like kind of like therapy in a way. It's kind of weird, but it calms me down. It relaxes me. Sometimes I listen to it before I go to bed because it helps me fall asleep. Sometimes on those late, stressful nights, that's what I tend to. But there'll be some times where I'll be working and I'll be like, I just want to listen to some ASMR. And then I do it consistently to a point where my comfort is put first instead of my work. So then I'm at fault of not showing up for my work. that is something that to keep in mind for all you guys in the work that you do as successors, as building up to become a successor on your journey, is to understand, don't put your comfort first. Put that second. Understand that you got to have a rule. You got to have like this rule ingrained in your mind. And if you don't have it, build it. Understand it and tell yourself. You have to consistently show up and tell yourself, I got to put this second, because if I don't, then who's going to carry the boat? Who's disciplined enough to stand up for themselves and show up for themselves? That's another thing too. Right now in my life, I'm struggling with that because I will set an alarm, put my phone on my desk, and that's the get me out of bed, jump out of bed, get up and get it type moves. And right when I wake up, eyes open, jump out of bed, grab my phone, turn the alarm off, and then I fucking go jump back in my bed and lay down and take a little nap. And that annoys me, the fact that I do that. So understand that, and that's me putting my comfort first. And you're like, well, you just told us not to put our comfort first, but you're doing it. Yeah, because I'm not trying to be that bullshitter guru, whatever you want to call them, that's telling you that like this perfect pigment of what you should do, but I'm not going to tell you what I fucking do. Let me start there, because I see so many people fucking doing that. Excuse my French. I'll stop. I should really stop, but I'm very opinionated when I'm alone because my thoughts move and go. But honestly, the result of this video is to don't get comfy and don't put your comfort first, because that results in things not getting done, or like more or less the progress that you're headed towards. So, but I appreciate you guys. If you're not in the Discord, go join the Discord. It's in my beacon.ai/calviarinc.com. It's also in my profile. Go check it out. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. I really look forward to seeing or hearing from you guys, or leave a comment if you enjoyed this. If you made it to at the end of this video and you didn't like it, give it a dislike. I don't care. Whatever works. But I appreciate y'all. Peace out. Love.